What's up? Hope you're having a great day. Alright, once again, it's story time. If you missed all the other ones or you're new here, I tell stories about like what happened to my arm, my past, all that stuff. I'll put that playlist up in the cards. But you might want to stay tuned for this one. This one should be a pretty good one. I've had it for a while and I've just been putting more notes and more notes. It's going to be a little bit all over the place. But from the title you can see it's from when I went to Woodstock and then like my rave years. Well, I guess you can call them rave years. But anyway, all that stuff and the Grateful Dead and all that stuff, all those shows I used to go to. I was born and raised outside of DC, so I'm hardcore from the heart. And I've got a lot of hardcore stories, and that's, you know, I mean, I've got notes here and that, and I had to write in a few, but first I gotta make sure to tell you, I got all these new knives up on the website. Let's see. Let me get a little closer so we can show them off. Whew! Look at them grind lines. Some people don't like grind lines. In fact, my best friend on the interwebs, you know, we've never met in person, but we talk all the time, said he don't like grind lines. But that's alright. We all have our preferences. Boom. 1, 2. You know, the mirror hormones on this one. That's the thing, if I use W2 or 1095, this is 1095, I do mirrored hormones. If not, I use 52-100 and do the grind lines. So, both of these are W2. Nice mirrored hormones. In case you clicked on here and you've never seen any of my knife making, just like my stories. Or interested in Woodstock and all that other stuff. All that hippie crap. I mean the Dead shows. You know, I went to them, so we'll get into all that, you know. I was born a metalhead hardcore dude, so we're supposed to hate hippies as much as they hate us. There we go. Paying attention to the camera, not the sheath. That's all on my website, which is up in the cards, and I'll put down in the links and all that. I think it's the first in the link. Anyway, let's get to it. Yeah, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all that stuff we tell you, and let's get with it. Let's see, we'll start out with Woodstock. Now, I got some pictures. I'll be putting some pictures in this video, and it was funny. That's when I lived in Virginia Beach. You know, that was like 94. So I lived, yeah, Woodstock 94. Yeah, so it was like right when I was about to get out or move back to DC from Virginia Beach. You know, that's the thing. I went to Virginia Beach, and you know, that's where I started one band. And every time I go to parties or anything, you know, it would be just me and a drummer playing as a band. And there was always this one girl, Heather. And looking back, I don't know if she actually liked me, but I always thought she hated my guts. Every time I'd see her at a party or anytime, you know, I even wrote a song about her, she would just look at me with the most hatred in her eyes. But, you know, looking back at kids, she might have just been a shy person or anything. Man, I don't know. All I know is I just thought she hated my guts. Anytime she'd see me, she'd roll her eyes and walk away and, you know, be whispering over in the corner and just look up at me like, oh, you pig, you know. But that might have been me deflecting off, you know, her built hatred, you know, me thinking she just hated, but she never talked to me, ever. You know, I'd see her at parties all the time. Anytime I played gigs or anything, you know, Virginia Beach was like a party city. And man, you know, like I said, I just thought this girl hated me. But we went to Woodstock, and I was carrying around this big flag. I'll put the picture right here. I carried it around for the first day because it was sunny, and then we had to fold it up. We got all these people to sign it and all that. My friend still has it. But when I got back to Virginia Beach, the only sentence she ever said to me, ever, she goes, I saw you on CNN, or I saw you on TV, and just walked away. Like, that was the nicest, the only sentence out of the 100 times I saw her. She's like, I saw you on TV with a smile. and then just walked away. And it was like, does that mean you don't hate me anymore? Man, but man, I'll tell you, that Woodstock, it was a blast, because like I said, I was living down in Virginia Beach, but my friends up here in DC all knew my parents were like, you know, they loved camping, they loved going camping and stuff like that, and they knew my parents were pretty well off. So, they talked my parents into fronting the money, and then they'd pay them back. And, in that, they bought 2 tickets for me and my girlfriend at the time, but we broke up and she moved back to Pennsylvania, and I ended up taking the drummer I was talking about, which was probably a better time since we were broken up. But man, Woodstock was amazing. And, you know, the bands, Green Day was the one band, you know, I used to get so much shit for liking Green Day, being like a punker. All my hardcore friends, oh, they used to call me Green Dave, you know? And I used to get so much for it. Man, if it's good music, you like it. You know, I don't care. I'm not ashamed to say I like this music. Just like I listen to Taylor Swift and Avril Lavigne, all that stuff. I don't care. I've been a musician since I was 5 years old. I like good music. Listen to me defending myself. The one show that stuck out, I don't think we were on acid yet. No, in fact we weren't. But I think we did some that weekend. No, everyone else was doing acid. I think I stayed straight for once. We'll get into that later. Well, not straight. I won't say straight. I did a lot of stuff, but I didn't do acid or LSD or whatever you want to call it. But Henry Rollins was the most amazing show I think I've ever seen in my life. And if you go back and watch footage of old Woodstock 94, it poured down rain for like 2 days. But when Henry sung, at least in my mind, and like I say, I was pretty straight. I probably did a few things here and there, but, you know, I was pretty straight. And the rain, like he would do a slow song and it would kind of slowly drizzle. Then as the music built up, it seemed like it would rain harder and harder and harder. And by the end of the show, it was pouring. And it seemed like the music dictated the weather, or at least that for Henry Rollins. You know, I've always been a Black Flag fan, and you know, so, and Henry Rollins is from DC, Minor Threat and all that. Anyway, now see, the thing is, I used to go to a lot of festivals and stuff like that, so I forget if Cypress Hill was there. I know I've seen Cypress Hill like 3 or 4 times, and they're an amazing show. I saw Insane Clown Posse and Foo Fighters here in DC at the Capitol Ballroom, which that's where all the raves were, the Capitol Ballrooms, but that's been wiped out. That's also where I used to cop a lot of dope 2 blocks over from there. But Insane Clown Posse was like a really fun show, you know, with all the Fago and all that, but that was 97, 98, and then I saw Foo Fighters there, and man, they were pretty amazing, you know. Dave Grohl's from Springfield, which is, you know, about 10 minutes away from me. Gotta represent DC. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, and by that time, I'd seen Metallica. By the time Woodstock came around, I'd seen Metallica probably 7 times. It seems like any festival you go to, Metallica was the second headliner, and then there was something like Van Halen or Van Hagar, you know, but Metallica was always playing. The one band I have never seen is Megadeth, and Megadeth, man, is like one of my favorite bands. You know, I burned out on Metallica, and after Cliff Burton died, I actually saw him twice with Cliff Burton, and, you know, it was with Ozzy. It was like Ozzy and Metallica came around a few times. And then it seemed like after that, Metallica was on every list. But I've never seen Megadeth. In fact, you know, Dave Mustaine is just, woo! That's another, man, Dave seems to have the nickname. They used to call me Super Dave. I'd be like, why? They're like, because you like Dave Mustaine, you know? You're an asshole like him too. Oh, man. Oh, since we were on the topic of Virginia Beach. Now, the reason I moved to Virginia Beach, you know, I got kicked out of high school. I was a pretty bad cut-up. You know, I made good grades, but, yeah, I think I told that story before where the teacher got so sick of me, she kicked me out of class and told me to come back and take the test, thinking I would fail, and I got like a 97 on the test, and she had to pass me, and she was pissed off. But anyway, I was a cut-up, you know. What I did to get kicked out, you know, I was always cutting class and all that, but I was in art class, the same art class where I did this, and my friend took out a condom, and he's like, what do you do with these? You know, joking around with me. And I took it over to the sink and I filled it up with water, and I went, anyone ever seen one of these? And I think the teacher thought I actually whipped my stuff out, but yeah, I was kicked out of class, out of school after that one. There was no coming back from that one. I still wonder if she thinks I actually pulled my junk out, you know. I got my GED and all that, and I went and I got my degree as a computer tech, because I was always good at computers. You know, I took all these computer classes, the little, you know, 5-10 minutes. Man, I'd go into some of those classes, they were just, you know, where you get a certificate. So whacked out from the night before, you know, no sleep, just all on who knows what, you know. And back in the 80s and 90s, early 90s, man, whew. But yeah, and I'd still, you know, get my certificate. So I knew I liked computers. You know, I was always good at computers and stuff like that. And, you know, as you can see, but if you know my knife making, I love messing with things and building things. In fact, I think my next video, I'm gonna take this apart. This is that AC/DC etcher I used in the last video, which I'll put up in the cards. I'm gonna take it apart because I got a video on how I built it, but it's from like 2018, and my editing skills are a lot better now. Oh man, I can't wait to edit this. I'm all over the place. Alright, so let's see. Everyone used to joke on me, I got my degree in surfing, but no, I actually did get a degree. It took me a long time, and I was a cut-up. You know, it took me a long time to get out of the mindset of you're here to actually get something done and not be a cut-up. You know, I'm always trying to pull things over on people and always try to impress people and be the smart ass. But, you know, when you're in college and you're paying for it, it's hard to get that out of your out of your head. But so this one guy, the girl who moved to Pennsylvania, I didn't really get along with a lot of people. You know, I talk to cameras like I'm the most social person in the world, but other than being a cut-up, I'm pretty awkward. Except this one guy I really connected with. Man, this guy, you know, me and him got along. We'd always joke around, and you know, and my girlfriend's like, man, you should hang out with him and, you know, get his number, start talking to him, hang out with him. And then a week later, he got arrested for killing his girlfriend and dumping her in a lake. He cut her up in the... This dude was like in the hunting. He always did all his reports on hunting and deers and how to skin deers and stuff like that, which to me, you know, I have a lot of friends that are hunters. You know, this is before I made knives or anything, so I didn't think of it until... And the messed up part, and it makes me laugh, but I shouldn't. The lake that he dumped her in was called Stumpy Lake after he cut her up and dumped her. It's like, God, man, this dude, you know, but that's who started making you look at yourself. It's like, man, there's gotta be something wrong with me, right? When I'm attracted to people that are just as messed up or do, I mean, murder's like top, you know, there's no higher. You know, you can do crazy stuff and be whacked out of your head. Like, I have a lot of friends that I grew up with who have to be on meds because they're so mentally unstable that if they go off their meds, you know, I have this one guy that I've known since I was a kid, and the cops always come around and they're like, hey, have you been taking your meds? Because he starts talking in delusions. He was telling everyone he was the manager of our band and he was going to get us to play RFK and all, you know, so stuff like that. And, you know, I've had friends with a lot of depression, and, you know, like I said, my best friend died basically in my arms, you know, and that's why I didn't play in any bands after that. That was like 96. And then I spiraled, way out of control. Man, I'm just rambling. I got Lars Fred, you know, dude from Rancid in my ear, so I'm getting all wired up. So let's get on to the last part of it, where I was talking about hippies. Now, all my friends were into the Dead, and I gotta be honest. Grateful Dead, their music is good. You know, they got good music. I don't like to listen to it. I'd rather listen to country than the Dead. And I'm not too... anyway. But man, I used to love going to Dead shows because of the drugs, you know. You want good drugs? You go where the hippies are. But God, I hate the smell of patchouli oil. There is nothing worse than patchouli. It's almost not worth it to go... Not worth the drugs because of the smell of dirty, because they don't bathe. They just put patchouli on more and more and more. They don't bathe, and they put more and more patchouli on. Now, I've hung out with some grunge, hardcore dudes that were down and dirty, and I've hung out with some junkies that were even dirtier. But man, you don't cover it with patchouli oil. That just, woo! Good Lord. If any of y'all remember the Grateful Dead shows or Fish or any of that, you know what I'm talking about. Man, I'll throw up if I even think about smelling patchouli. You know, the funny thing is, you'll be walking around the parking lots and you hear psh, psh, where everyone's taking their balloons, selling balloons for like $3. And, you know, we used to call it hippie crack, you know, nitrous oxide. You know, you're giggling, and it's crazy what people put into their systems, you know. Yeah, you know, the thing is, it's funny because, oh, let me go on this, and I'll talk about the last part. I put that as last. But, you know, the crazy part, me and Jerry Garcia have the same birthday. He's born on August 1st. So, God, I had to hear that from every damn hippie that was around. I throw around hippie. If you're a hippie, that's fine. You know, I got a lot of real, like, close friends that are hippies, and I just got so used to, you know, calling them damn hippies. Oh, man. It's just because they know, you know, they always like to torture me because they know how much I hate patchouli, and man, that makes them wear it more. And then, you know, in 2005, yeah, I've always had really curly hair. From like the 80s, like 89 to like 2004, I shaved my head. Like if you see in that Woodstock picture, my head is shaved. But then in 2004, I was like, I'm gonna stop cutting my hair. I'm not gonna comb it, I'm not gonna brush it, I'm gonna become a hippie. No, I'm gonna become like the dude in Lamb of God, a metalhead with dreads. And man, look at this picture. My dreads were down to like here. And I never, you know, I showered, I didn't wear patchouli. But I didn't, in fact, my friend Jason, my good friend, which he'll come up in a second, I'd have to get him to just start cutting. So they would be, you know, because it became one big old thing. And then I'd have them cut them out, and they were just big old dreads. I mean, like fat, Rasta dreads, you know? Yeah, man. Like Bad Brains, you know, another DC band. But anyway, I'll end on this. Speaking of DC, me and my friend, you know, Jason, you know, we were like the Toxic Twins, and that's what they always call these junkies that go together. But, you know, we went down to DC last night because he was getting a bottle of, I don't know. See, I don't drink. I've never been a drinker. I mean, when I was like 19, like I was a courier in DC, and I was telling him this story because I couldn't remember why I would give him my ID. But I'd get my courier check, and I'd give the dude at the liquor store my ID with my check to cash it, and then get a bottle of Jim Beam for me and my band. You know, I was 19 years old, and I'd give them my ID in DC, and they would cash my check and give me a bottle of liquor. And I was telling him that story. Oh man, I almost forgot the late 90s and raves and dubstep. How could I put rave in the title of the video if I forgot that part? Now at the place where I said I saw ICP and the Foo Fighters and all that, used to be called Nation. I think it was on South Capitol Street. I think it was just called Nation. But man, they'd have Friday nights would be a huge rave. The whole place would be just locked out in raves. Across the street was Wet, which was actually a gay bar, except for Saturday nights, which was straight night. But you know, none of that bothered me. I have gay friends and stuff like that. I'm more bothered by the hippies. No, man, I'm just joking with hippie stuff, you know. Dubstep, this was like 97, 98. No, it must have been 98, because I was 27 and I felt old as hell being around, you know, all these kids had their X's on where they were like over 18, so they're like 19 or 20. You know, they couldn't drink and all that, but man, they had the best drugs. You know, ecstasy, crystal meth, and then after the thing, everyone would come over to either my house or we go to someone else's house, and man, you have to wind down, and it'd be like 7 or 8 in the morning, people going to work, and you're still wired out of your brain on whatever you just took. And then the ecstasy started becoming like this bluish brown pill, which I realized was just crystal meth and heroin mixed. You know, they're pressing tabs. And I started cutting out the crystal and got back into dope, and the whole girlfriend there kind of went on here and there, and I think I told that in another story. I mean, I don't know, that whole then in the build up, dubstep's only really good when you're high. And really high and loving everybody, you start dancing, yeah. Oh man, yeah, the only other dancing I do is slam dancing. In fact, I think I left that part out of the story too. I came from a show in DC. I was going out with this girl. This was like 89, maybe 87, 89. So I still lived here in DC. And I came out of the show, and both my eyes were swollen. My nose was all bloody. And, you know, I was just beaten to hell. You know, good show. That's how you know it's a good show, when you're just beaten down. So I had to go to dinner with my girlfriend and her parents the next night. And they said, well, why would you do something like that if you come out looking like that? And my only answer was like, because I get to do it to other people too. You don't get this beaten up if you're not beating someone else up. I just had to insert all that here. I forgot that part, but back to the story. You know, that's the thing. I've been clean. I've been off dope for 5, 6 years now. But I don't like alcohol, so I don't have a problem with alcohol. I don't even want to drink it. I've had like about that much weed at my house for like 3 years, and maybe every once in a while I'll take a hit of weed. You know, now if you're in NA and AA, man, and it's working for you, more power to you. But that stuff doesn't work for me. I go in and I put everyone's problems on my shoulders. I was never a social user. I partied with my friends and went to these things, and it was all with me and my friends. People that are like use drugs and alcohol and stuff like that to be social, AA works great for them. For me, it just makes me want to, you know, I hear everyone's stories about using, I want to go back out, man, let's go get high, you know? Yeah, I remember that, let's go. But so as we were driving into DC, man, we're driving by like every spot we hit, you know, and all these spots. Cause man, back then, you know, you'd get your dope and you just pull over on the side of the road and you'd hit, you know, from there it didn't matter. And, you know, the logic was so crazy because it's like, oh, well, if we get arrested, at least we'll be high. You know, in the last 2 or 3 years of getting high, I realized if you just go home and get high, you don't have to worry about getting stopped because you're not, you're not sitting on the side of the road nodding out or, you know, doing whatever. But man, yeah, but it was funny, I noticed that the closer we got to DC, the more the story started rolling in. We were remembering this, we're remembering that, and going through, you know, he had been clean 5 or 6, well, clean off of dope. Like I said, he bought a bottle, which goes against being goes against sobriety. You know, as long as I'm not shooting dope into my veins, I consider myself straight. Doesn't matter. You know, my mom's had all kinds of stuff for her here, and I never even thought about taking it. Now, if someone brought me a bottle of PCP or something, oh, I almost love that story out. See, I did love PCP, but, you know, that's one of those drugs that I've seen a lot of dudes fry their brain using PCP. But man, there was this one time we smoked it, you know. It was either wet, where you would be like, you know, I'm gonna get you, Wabbit, you know, the slow motion formaldehyde PCP, or you smoke it and you're like, ah, bouncing off the wall PCP. Well, this time, it was the wet, man, and I couldn't talk at all. All I could do, I sat in the middle of the party, and as people walked by, I could wave my hand and say their name. That's all I could do. Oh, that was amazing. Oh, man. All right, I've rambled enough. That's about it. Now you know why I'm such a whacked out guy. Actually, a lot of it was just to turn my brain off. As you can see, I'm, man, obsessed with everything. But, I don't want to be on doctor drugs, man. I went to a psych ward for 2 months, I think it was, and man, they had me on all kinds of crazy drugs. I was seeing, I don't want that. I want to know what, you know, then you build up and you have to change, oh man. Dope was a lot better than that, and dope is horrible. Alright, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff. Go check out my website. Let me know what you think of these pictures. The pictures on my website I did with my phone. And I'm gonna have to go outside and do something with my camera. That's about it. I'll put a playlist of the rest of the stories right here, and my website's right there. Hope y'all having a great day, and as always, take it easy.